What is up, everybody? We're barking. It's dark, and we're glad to be here. Listen, this is the last, not the last episode of Bark After Dark ever, I promise, but it is the last weirdo episode we're going to have where we kind of have to just make it and work and fit it in because of the holidays. We'll be back on regular schedule next week, Roos, and that's something I'm thankful for.
I'm always glad for any return to normalcy, man. It has been. I'm not a holiday guy. I think I've said that on the show. I'm a bit of a Grinch, man. So I'm ready to get it all behind.
You're black on the inside is what it is like, and I'm talking about
I wear black on the outside because black is how I feel on the inside.
Yeah, you are creosote on the inside, just burnt.
No question. I'm not into it, man. I like my routine. I'm a man of routines. So I'm.
Yeah, I don't like being thrown off either.
Yeah, I'm very cool to get back to it all.
Did
you survive Miami?
Do what?
Did you survive Miami?
Kinda. I got myself a little cold coming back, I guess. I don't know what happened. Like New Year's Eve night, I started to kind of get sniffly and stuffy, and I'm sure I probably sound a little nasally right now. But no, I mean everything's fine. After we did Bark After Dark, I may have had a night of misbehavior. Might have showed some immaturities, might have made some bad choices. Staying out till 3 o'clock in the morning with a young duo of Brandon Adams and Jeff Sintel. We may have overestimated our youth in our 40s. Man, I don't know. I think I probably did more than they did.
That's not hard for me to believe, to be honest with you at all. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. And I'm going to get to Palmer here in a minute, but because I got a bone to pick with him. But I told Palmer from the moment that game started, like the game started, Florida State, I guess, got the ball first and ran a play, and I just said immediately, "Run, clock, run!" I could not wait to get out of that place. And with I don't know, man, it just seemed like nobody was really excited for that game, and
Florida State was not.
I needed they're not excited with any part of that game, and I needed a nap. A nap.
Well, I wish I could say that I got to go feel bad in Miami myself, but instead I just felt bad on my couch and in my bed for the better part of a week, man. I don't know what I had, but something was absolutely just whipping my ass this last week.
So, bubonic.
Say what? Yeah, no, it felt like it, dude. I hit up my cousin who was a veterinarian, and I was like, "Hey, what do you use to put dogs down? I was to bring some to me." I mean, I was hurting, dude.
Great.
I had like a little tingle of it on Wednesday night, and I was like, huh, I feel a little off. And I texted one of my buddies. I was like, hey, we were supposed to hang out on Thursday. I said, I don't know if I'll be around tomorrow. And he texted me on Thursday morning. He was like, hey, man, like, don't worry about it. A lot of people have been sick. Dude, I was toast. I didn't really leave my house until the following Tuesday. So.
Yeah, and you had you explained your symptoms to me. You had what I dread more than anything in the world, and that is sinus pressure. Like feeling like your face is about to come off because your sinuses are all like inflamed and stuff is the absolute worst.
What sucks to me about it too is I still have the cough, and I've talked to several people about it. They're like, the cough's like, I don't know, maybe up to 30 days. I was like, God almighty. Like I feel pretty much fine otherwise. I got a little bit of head pressure still, but nothing crazy. But dude, 30 days with a cough, that's like Chinese water torture, man.
Yeah, my wife had it. My wife had like the flu, same symptoms you had. She was in the bed for like 3 or 4 days, and honestly, it wasn't until like she was just kind of okay, I need to get my lungs back before I start back, walking and getting some exercise. And then one day she's kind of tough through it and was like, all right, I'm going to get out and get my heart rate up, and that's helped tremendously. Even though hers still kind of hangs around a little bit, you'll hear a little bark in our house. It's not necessarily after dark, but you'll hear it, and it's out there.
I'm gonna probably sit down with a pack of Marlboro Reds and see if I can't get through this thing.
Can we quickly talk about how much disdain I have for Palmer Thomas?
Sure. Yeah, that's one of my favorite segments we do on Bark After Dark.
Let's hate on Palmer. Palmer, get that banner up there. Let's hate on
Palmer problems.
You were present when he was instigating me before the show.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, just this man's constantly just trying to push my buttons.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push his right now. I'm trying to get him to pop on here and defend himself.
He's making
He
us a
won't
banner
do
right
it.
now
I
for Palmer
won't say
problems.
anything mean about him, but he won't do it. He won't do it because we're both wearing blue Masters hats, and he doesn't want to look like twins. But no, I mean, we've been talking scholarships over at DawgsHQ, and I think Palmer kind of misunderstood me, and we had a good little spirited back and forth before the show. But I just, obviously I love Palmer. I had to share. Palmer and I share hotel rooms on the road because I don't know, we've shared hotel rooms for a long time, and he's not the worst roommate in the world, that's for sure. And usually I have to borrow his toothpaste. So,
By the way, shout out 10 years ago, this week, a couple days ago, actually, you and I went out to the Army All-American game, as it were at the time. You hooked me up with a credential, and that's really what kind of got the whole ball rolling. Speaking of staying in hotel rooms together.
yeah,
So,
yeah. What do you remember? What kind of were we
I
staying
think
at?
it was a Hampton Inn, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it? Yeah, I
I
know a
think it
couple
was.
times I went to that game. I stayed at the Hotel Indigo.
No, come on, man. We weren't staying in no Hotel Indigo.
Hey, Steve Patterson used to put me up in the Hotel Indigo from
I
time to
think we were
time.
staying in a Hampton Inn, like right in the middle of downtown San Antonio,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
and then obviously we made that day trip to Austin.
Yep.
That one day ate at Stubbs because everything else was sold out. We didn't know what time to get there. Spent some time in Austin. Came back that night, and Josh Hemholt. Shout out to him, Mark Givler.
Yeah.
Some of those dudes invited us out to dinner. We went to Landry's, and I had a surf and turf on the Yahoo dime.
That was a great time, man. That was a really, really fun experience.
You know what I remember about that night more than anything is that that sweater button up shirt combo you wore. Roos put his nice clothes on for that dinner.
Oh yeah. Wow,
a little sweater with a collar over the top of it.
I'm trying to impress, man.
Yeah. It worked. Whatever happened, we can't fault anything that happened. We're here. Look at us. Look at us.
I miss going to that game, to be honest with you. That was a fun game, dude. Like, there's not really a lot of reason to do it anymore, just because all the Georgia kids are signed now at this point. And so, I mean, like, we send our national guys and they get us some stories, but that, to me, San Antonio, one of the great underrated cities in America.
Yeah, 100%. And like Charles Barkley said, there's a reason the women in San Antonio is kind of big women,
Yeah.
Some churros, baby. You never heard that?
No.
You've never seen Charles Barkley on Big Women in San Antonio?
I have not.
Oh boy, I've got some required viewing for you when this show is over.
Right,
I almost wish we could pull it up on the show. Is that going to be a problem, Palmer? Could you pull it up on the show?
It's probably copywritten.
Okay. I don't know if it is or not. There's a lot of people got it on tweets and stuff. Yeah, we probably can't do what we need to do with the show, but God, it's so good. He just like Kenny and Shaq will egg him on, get him going. Like, hey, Charles, what you like about San Antonio, or what you don't like about San Antonio, man? And they're like, what you mean? And then Ernie's like, no, God, no. And then I mean, they get him going. It's a big old women in San Antonio, man. But I've never noticed that myself. I did have somebody tell me about San Antonio one time. They said, hey, man, get down on the Riverwalk. All right, get on the right side of the river, wherever you're at, and lean on the wall. Just walk down and kind of rub your shoulder against the wall. And the first place you fall into, order a taco from there. Order some Mexican food.
No, see, what changed my experience was I found an Airbnb, and it was a sick Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it was about the same price as a hotel room. So I was working for UGA Sports at the time, and Roddy was cool to let me stay there. And I stayed with a guy named Mike, and Mike was an older guy. He was a bar owner in town, and he turned me on to like the best joints. He owned a couple places, but he turned me on to these crazy places. If you get to San Antonio, you got to go to Carnitas Lanja. It's this little hole in the wall, man, but they got incredible carnitas tacos, just unbelievable. He turned me on to that one. Hot Joy was another one I went to every single year when I went there. I love that trip, man. I miss it. I'm gonna see if I can get to go again next year, or I may just vacation out there because it's.
I think my favorite San Antonio story is not is from one I didn't attend, and it was from the old press box. The hey Sanjay,
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh God. That was no.
Listen, we don't have to share any names. We can tell that
Sure.
story.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you tell it. You're the one that was there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So there was. I was with some people I knew. I'll put it that way. And
Some people you worked with. We just
right,
say
there
that.
was a young
Not me.
Indian.
I was not
There
there.
was a young Indian guy in the press box, and there was at the time, and I don't know where he is anymore, but Sanjay Kriplani, I believe,
Yeah.
was his name.
It was very popular. Had a really
He was
good
working
following
with
with Bleacher Report.
yeah, it was Bleacher Report. That's
Yeah,
right.
he did an incredible job with the
Yeah,
recruiting
no,
stuff.
he was bang up at that time. And shout out wherever you are, Sanjay. Good luck, man. But there was a guy who in the press box who's not Sanjay Kriplani.
I mean, I don't
Who
mind sharing who that guy is. It's Ben Baby, who
it was
covers
Ben
the
Baby, who's now the
Cincinnati
Bengals
Bengals.
reporter. Right, yeah.
Who's a really good
And
friend of mine who kind of crossed paths with him after this, and wonderful kid.
yeah, and one of the guys I was working with just assumed that because he was a young Indian man covering recruiting, that perhaps he was Sanjay Kriplani. So he just kind of yelled up at him, "Hey, Sanjay!" And it was pretty clear that that wasn't who that was. Almost immediately, I knew that, in fact, but he didn't ask me before he did it. So
And
Ben remembered that, didn't he?
he did, because Ben turned and looked at him, which is my favorite part of the story, and said, "My name's Ben."
Yeah.
So I told Ben about that. I brought that up to Ben because he told me about covering that game, and I said, "Hey, listen, I heard this story, and this may be you, this may not be you." And such a dude, he laughed. He was like, "Yes, I totally remember that. Absolutely."
Yeah.
By the way, Ben Baby, let's put him on the list. Bark After Dark guest. I'm pretty sure
That'd
we
be
can
great.
get him.
That'd be great.
I'm pretty sure we can
I'd
get
like
him.
to know how you transitioned from covering the Adidas All American game to getting an NFL beat. I need
He
to get on
covered
that trajectory, man.
he covered A&M for the Dallas Morning News, I believe, for a while. And I mean, you want to talk about somebody just like freakishly talented at this job, and just honestly, man, I know I was giving Palmer flack earlier, but I think Palmer's kind of headed in the same direction as Ben Baby, because Ben's got that Labrador after a tennis ball drive that Palmer has, that kind of like, hey, you got some work for me to do. Let's do this.
Here's what's going to stop Palmer. I'm going to tell you right now.
Palmer
is one of those people.
I'm going to murder him. Is that what's going to stop him?
No, he's one of those people like Patton Oswalt talks about, like in that bit about Athens. Like, he's a lifer, man. He's not going to know. Palmer has been in Athens too long, and he's going to stay in Athens too long, but he's not going to know how to function outside of Athens.
Well, you're saying
he's going to roll back over to the frat house when he's like 40, and, paddle pledges and do that whole thing again.
It's going to be like Chris Stars a little bit.
Yeah, right, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Hey, man, listen. I'll be honest with you. If I had a wife that wanted to live in the Athens city limits still, I might be that same dude. Just flip flops, a couple cocktails out on the, I don't know. I'd probably have a cigarette problem too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, let's actually get into some talk about maybe a little bit of Jesus Christ. Palmer just sent us a link. If this is not a Bark After Dark story, we have to pivot, because if this is not one, I don't know if there's ever been one.
Yeah, this is just coming across our desk here. Breaking news for us. Pretty exciting stuff. Palmer,
apparently this came out much earlier today.
Can we get that in the side window there, Palmer?
Oh my God.
I haven't even read this. What does this say?
Oh God. Apparently this came out much earlier today. This is about this is regarding former Georgia wide receiver and return man Isaiah McKenzie, who was suspended last month without really any indication as to what was going on. McKenzie took to social media this week to denounce a rumor flying around that he was suspended for killing a bald eagle, the United States national bird.
I like his that's a strong contender for tweet of the year right there to begin the year. Palmer, let's click on that tweet. I want to get the tweet up.
It's 2024, so let's start fresh. First things first, I did not kill a bald eagle. That story is false.
That is a hell of a thing to have to deny to start your year off, man. That's
Oh God. I
wow.
mean,
The internet is undefeated. For
Palmer,
this,
Palmer, can you get us some replies on this? I really need to see some of the
too bad we
replies.
hate them.
He was in Miami Beach, Florida when he put this in there.
Yo, this is a wild way to start the year. I agree completely.
I knew there was no way you did. You don't owe any explanation, but thanks for it regardless.
Literally exactly what someone who killed an eagle would say.
Oh man, for the viewers, you gotta love that. Oh my God.
Incredible. Incredible. You
Oh,
don't get
what?
this kind of analysis on any other Georgia adjacent show in the
Yeah.
market. I can assure you.
Hey, and
We
speaking
will
of
be
Isaiah McKenzie, a cool story in and of itself. Sony Michel's teammate in high school, very, very good high school player at American Heritage, blew up his senior year a little bit, was committed to Notre Dame. He said he wanted to come to Georgia without taking a visit, and they were they were kind of mealy mouthed on him a little bit. They kind of were trying to, I don't know. And then I'm pretty sure right there, kind of at the last minute, couple of meetings there, Georgia had as a staff on who to take, who to not. Mark Richt kind of was like, "Hey, listen, we're taking this kid, 100%."
and it was signing day. He flipped, right?
Yes, it was. And the funny thing was, I'll never forget this. This was an awesome Rustyism, because my thing was Rusty and I were at different spots at the time, but I remember how Rusty reported this because I remember getting the screenshot. But I reported like early in the day, I said, "Hey, listen, I expect Isaiah McKenzie to end up at Georgia." And I kind of, I would kind of push that off and just kind of work on something else. And then all of a sudden it was announced at one point, "Hey, he'll be choosing between 4 schools and none of them were Georgia." And I remember Rusty going, don't care whose hat's on the table. He's going to Georgia. And I was just like, man, that's strong, because I was doubting my own reporting at that point. So I just thought it was funny the way Rusty reported that one. But let's get into this playoff stuff, right? Because I mean, obviously, and by the way, Happy New Year. We haven't said that to anybody. How rude are we? Let's get into this playoff stuff. But before we do, let's talk about some good friends of ours over at Factor. Okay. Listen, Factor is the perfect way to get started on your New Year's resolutions. If you want to drop a few pounds, if you just want to eat cleaner, hell, you might want to bulk up. This is a great way to kind of meal plan and get all of that. You may want less stress. I mean, this can check off so many different boxes for you. Factor's ready to eat meal delivery takes the stress out of planning. It sets you up for success in the new year. You can skip grocery stores. You don't have to prep stuff. Cooking fatigue. I don't feel like it tonight. Well, get one of these. They are absolutely delicious. I got 6 of them from Factor to test out. I also got some juices, some cold pressed juices that were amazing. And listen, there's over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options for keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie stuff. I mean, over 55 add-ons per week. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. And again, lose weight, get healthy, eat cleaner, less stress. This can kind of check off all those boxes for you. Skip the overpriced takeout trap. This is so much cheaper than eating out. And you can get chef-crafted quality restaurant meals that are ready to eat in just a couple minutes, and that means more time for you. That means less worrying about what you got to take care of later on in the day. Things can get hectic, man. And Factor is flexible. Change your order up to every week with plans for 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries at any point. Listen, going over to Factor Meals, FactorMeals.com/dogs50, dogs50, and use the promo code DAWGS50 to get 50% off. That's code DAWGS50 at factormeals.com/DAWGS50 to get 50% off your first order over at Factor. And listen, I can't speak enough about how good this food is and how easy it is to prepare. Go check it out and get your New Year started off on the right foot.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Roof, roof. Bark after that. All right. So Washington, Michigan. That's what everybody thought. Everybody had it like
Right.
that, right?
Right. I'm upset about it, to be honest with you, because I'm pissed off about Michigan, man. I think that I don't think Michigan should be here. I don't think Michigan should be allowed to be here.
The University of Michigan Stallions.
I think Michigan is under investigation. I think Michigan kind of rubbed it in everybody's face by having Connor Stallions at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah, there was, Nicole Auerbach from the Athletic confirmed that. Tweeted out a picture of him. He was at the Rose Bowl.
Do you think that a man with a manifesto on Michigan football was going to be kept from the Rose Bowl?
No question. I'm not shocked he was there. Do you think a man who would put on a fake mustache and go to a Central Michigan game is the kind of guy who would miss?
Are we sure that mustache was fake, or just Connor Stallions just
possibly.
is an alpha male?
Look, and I'm probably, maybe the Michigan people will find this thing and they'll come after us over this, but I don't care. I think that
if you come after me, kill me quickly. Just kill me quickly. That's all.
To me, if you're under active investigation, I don't think you should be allowed to compete for the national championship. I don't personally. I
have a hard time with that.
I don't know, man.
It's going to be real embarrassing.
It depends on what it's for, right? I mean, what we're talking about is an investigation for cheating and essentially changing the outcomes of games as a result.
True. Yeah. That's definitely it. I mean, I watched that game. It was a very entertaining game. I do find it kind of rich that Alabama fans are now showing close-ups of the dude's heel being reestablished in bounds before catching the interception after the SEC championship game. I mean, it looks like you tried to get past it a little bit. He's got roses. I mean, I don't know, man. This is weird. Is that him for sure?
That's him.
Oh man, he went bald. He went hairless.
Yeah.
Laser removal looks like. I mean, but I tell you what, man. The thing that I like more than anything is Washington getting in.
I love it.
Because here's the deal. Lo and behold, Washington, of the teams playing the national championship game, the lowly West Coast Dogs, the Huskies, they have the most talented wide receivers in the whole thing. Neither one of them are a 5-star, by the way. So Georgia fans, take solace. You might can win a game or two without a 5-star.
If you were re-ranking them, I think Roma Dunze probably deserves a 5th star.
Yeah, but that's the way it is in every class. I mean, look across the NFL and you see dozens and dozens, and I know there's many more to choose from, but you see dozens and dozens of guys who aren't elite wide receivers coming out of high school. Sure. It is very much a developmental position. It has become almost like offensive line in that way. Sure. Because there are so many of them and, so many guys that develop. But for the second year in a row, man, you've had like a TCU-like run of somebody that, preseason, come on. It wasn't a popular pick. I don't know if they completely came out of nowhere like TCU did, but there's some similarities here, explosive offense.
I was going to say too, they've done some really impressive stuff over the course of this year. Beating Oregon, twice. You overcome now Texas as well. And huge shout out, man, to DeBoer. Unbelievable coach, man. You go back and look at his resume, man. Just an outstanding job that guy has done. Listen, Washington better be ready to pony up some cash, is what I will say for keeping their head coach, because that guy is going to have everybody in the country knocking. If I'm Florida, I'm thinking about how to get that guy.
I've had the thought that if the rumors are true and Brian Kelly is set for that job at Michigan, which I don't know why you would do that with Kalen DeBoer out there. I guess
if I were Michigan, I would probably call him before I would call Brian Kelly.
I probably would too. But if they do get Kelly, I think LSU, that's got to be your first call. That's got 100%. To be your first call. Especially when you see what he has done with that type of talent. I think that would excite a really good roster that you've got there at LSU. One thing I don't really understand about Washington, and I'm interested to see how it plays out, especially if DeBoer is back there next year, is Will Rogers. Listen, I don't think poorly of Will Rogers at all, but I look at him as a good player, right? As a good, solid college football player. I mean, I always thought Michael Penix could be as good as he wanted to be. I mean, you watch him throw deep balls at Indiana, and you were like, "Good God!" Like he's over here
Speaking of
gashing
which,
at Ohio State.
I had forgotten that Michael Penix was committed to Tennessee at one point.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes. He was committed under Butch Jones, and when they transitioned to Pruitt and Tyson Helton, apparently he didn't fit with what Helton wanted. So I read the story on this the other day. It was fascinating. They ran him off like a week before signing day. He'd been committed for months, and they let him go. And yeah.
Where's he from?
Penix is from Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Tech, I believe he played at.
Good for him, man. Good for him. Seems like a really cool kid too. And obviously, another thing we're learning here is, man, the experienced quarterbacks, the two with the most wear on the tires, are the ones that have gotten through. And that happened kind of last year too. I mean, it definitely happened last year. The guys that have been around the longest, had the most snaps. I guess you could probably look at it like that the year before a little bit in a way as well. I mean, I don't know. It was Bryce Young over Desmond Ridder, but that was just a massive talent gap. And we're learning more and more about these days about Desmond Ridder, sadly, because I think he's a good kid. But, hey, he's made life-changing money, I think. And, maybe he can stick around the NFL a little while for a backup. But, yeah, that playoff, man. And listen, all the Florida State crying. I mean, guys, shut up, please. I mean, I get it. It sucks, dude. You're not changing anything. You're just all you're doing is just pandering to a fan base at this point. And just calm down. It's going to be okay. You'll get in a 12-team playoff, maybe never. And
tough look to go out on, though. Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
I get it. I understand. What I don't understand is I've seen very little frustration from Florida State fans, at least the vocal ones on social media. There's a little bit more of it on War Chant, where people were saying, "Look, our guys should have shown up." I mean, if you want to be mad at the guys who didn't come.
Yeah,
I don't know. I get it. I mean, I understand why you're upset, but it is what it is, man. And those guys didn't want to be there either.
That was a pounding.
I want to jump on this. I mean, there's just not really a lot else to say about that game. Georgia destroyed them. They dismantled them. I do want to jump in real quick on a couple of our comments from last week, because I'm imagining we're probably going to get some of the same comments this week, because a lot of people, if you can believe this, Jake, not real impressed with you and I just sitting here bullshitting. They want more. I don't know why, but they want more from Bark After Dark. I assume that's because they're not frequent consumers of this product, and so they are not familiar with how this goes.
I'm mad.
So Brandon Lawless 1506 says, nobody wants to hear about airplanes. Talk football. Pat Williamson,
go listen and watch about football somewhere else. Maybe we got we've got another
YouTube channel.
We've got another show for that. It's called The Georgia Show. And listen, we try to talk some ball here, but we also try to offer people a little bit of a break from ball. And we've never shied away from the fact that, as Jake Roos so eloquently put it, this is an exercise in self-indulgence. We do this for fun.
Pat Williamson said, these guys are normally on target, but not tonight. Then he says, please stop. Then Pat Williamson 9039 came in again and said, stop the BS and talk about the game, please. Then he followed up again and said, by far your worst show. I'm leaving. Could care less about your food desires. Pat, I got bad news for you, brother. The food desires are going to spill out into Bark After Dark every time, buddy. We cannot help ourselves.
And listen, buddy, does it bother me that you don't love us anymore? A little, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
We had Randy Clay who came in and he said, it's Bark After Dark. The show's always more casual. What insight do you want from the game? The UGA-OL dominated the Florida State second string. Feel better? And James Bond, ZD5JX said, that's not necessarily what this show is about. And that's true. This show is,
people get it.
This show is, so it's good to know some people get what we're doing here.
This show is about culture, storytelling, and getting after Palmer Thomas's ass every chance we get. That's just
Every
what we
time,
do.
baby. Every time.
But we do it out of
We're gonna
love.
take off a little.
Yeah, we need to get to that really quick because we're running
It's a
out of
new
time.
year. It's a new year, so we got to start it off with a good jaking off session here.
All right, I went first last time.
All right, so mine's an easy one for you. I thought about it earlier today. New Year's is here. New Year's resolutions. Are you a New Year's resolution guy to begin with? And then B, do you have any for this year?
Not typically a New Year's resolution guy. I'm always trying to lose weight. I'm always battling I'm not heavier this time. I'm not heavier today than I was this time last year, which is a good thing. But I'm not much lighter either. I think I'm like 2 pounds lighter. So I guess, lose 2 pounds a year for the rest of my life. I'll be a good looking guy by the time I'm like 80.
There you go. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I always try to this year I'm doing dry January for the first time in a long time. And I think it's just because that night before the Orange Bowl, and then B, just being sick, kind of having the sniffles to start the year, I think kind of gets me off to a good start. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be a little healthier this year. Try to make some healthier choices. Try to move a little bit more this year. Um, as far as other resolutions, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't really have a whole lot. I got to be unhappy with to try and fix. I got a great family. I love my folks, and pretty blessed in that regard. So not that people that do have resolutions have that. All right. So got a question for you. It's pretty simple. Because I was going to kind of ask you the same question. Do you have any, by the way, before I ask you your question?
I don't. My thing is, I picked this up a couple years ago. A word of the year. You pick a word and you kind of make it set that as your intention for the year. So it's not really like hey, I'm going to do X, Y, Z kind of thing. So I think for this year, I haven't really picked it yet. I kind of give myself the first week. Say what?
Owenist.
Yes.
That's a good word for you this year.
I give myself the first week of the year normally to kind of get the word set. I'm leaning toward like growth or something, maybe. You know also that I'm in the midst of a dry January myself. I am a week in at this point, actually, because once I got sick, I just didn't drink. I was like, well, I need to now I had a lot of people who said a hot toddy would help me out, but I knew that if I had one hot toddy, I was just going to be like, oh, well, that felt pretty good. Let's have another.
Let's just toddy it up.
So I don't know that I'll do I don't know that I'll make the whole month. I very rarely do. I might go for my buddy Nick Davis Fields and pull the Gentleman's Month, which is the
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Start drinking on January 28th. Call it a Gentleman's Month.
I agree. Yeah, I think so. But I might shoot for something like that. Maybe weekends. I don't know, man. I'm not. But like I said, I'm focused on. I'm going to pick my word out. So ask me again on Monday, and we'll have a word.
So my wife and I were having a conversation the other day. We were talking, and actually, my wife and friends and I, New Year's Eve, and we're talking about how you graduated college, and I graduated college with a child, so I didn't really get a chance to do this, or I probably would have. But if I could go back and do it, we talked about it. Then kind of one thing you could go back and do if when you graduated college again was, one of the things multiple of us said was like, I would just like to move away and go live somewhere, somewhere different, somewhere that I could experience for a little while, even if it was only for 6 months or 3 months or whatever. Yeah. So flashback to 2009-ish, I guess, when you graduated college.
Yeah.
Same for me as well, but I graduated high school 3 years earlier than you did. So we can do the math on that. Where would that be for you? If you could move somewhere, if you could just move somewhere right now to kind of just experience it for about 6 months, where would you go?
I'll be honest. It's somewhere I've been before. I'd like to go back to Thailand, and I'd like to live there for about 6 months. Because I think the standard of living was so high for so little money. So to me, it was a place where you could kind of get the best of both worlds. Like, you didn't need just a ton of money to survive there. And also, if you didn't have a ton of money, you could live really well. So Thailand is definitely somewhere I'd go back to. I mean, it's a weird, wild place, but it was a cool culture. The people were wonderful. The food was outstanding. I love that kind of food anyway. Sorry, Pat Williamson, to get back into my food desires.
We miss you, Pat. We miss you.
Anyway, that's probably what I would like to. I would like to have done something abroad, or I'd like to do something abroad. I wouldn't want to be there for a long time. Like if I knew I had to be there for like 2-3 years, I probably wouldn't pick somewhere that distant. Because I'd like to be able to get back and see my family a little bit more than that. But 6 months, yeah, I'd probably go back to Thailand. That would be cool. I could do that.
I think I'd move to Colbert, Georgia.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just checking. No, it would, for me, it would be kind of like Wyoming area, maybe Seattle, an island off the coast.
Let's say you're going out of country. Where would you like to go?
If I was going out of country, that's a good question. That is probably Spain or Greece. Yeah, probably Spain or Greece. Okay. I just think those two places kind of appeal to me more than I've told you this many times. I'm not really a man. I've got to go travel the world person. I mean, it's not that I don't want to. I mean, I do, but I'd much rather make sure I see. I'd rather make sure I see Alaska and Hawaii and the Pacific Northwest, which are the 3 places I've really never seen, over making sure I get to Italy or Japan or somewhere like that. That's just kind of the way I look at it. I do want to go see those places, but it's not as much of a priority for me. And honestly, I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared of getting abducted, by a chubby chaser of some sort and getting trafficked.
Sure. The meat on your bones, highly desirable.
Absolutely. Yeah. You sell me on the black market for cannibalism. I mean, I'm Wagyu walking around out here. All right, y'all. That's all we've got for tonight. We appreciate you. We love you. We're sorry for boring you if we did, but we're not going to stop. This has been Bark After Dark. Y'all take it easy.